Okay, everyone, we'll get going in a minute. I appreciate it. At the top of the hour, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. My name is Paul Siegel. I appreciate you attending this JIRA webinar. We'll do a minute-and-a-half brief introduction about Starweaver, what we do and how we do it, and then we'll pass this over to Michael, who will be running this webinar and is the JIRA expert amongst us. I'm Paul Siegel from Starweaver. What we do is live and online education in the finance, technology, and project management related areas. We do this live and online, do it in person, depending on what the organizations require. Most of what we do is for large organizations around the world. That means we have a whole very high standard for what we do, and therefore we ensure that you get what you need as practical hands-on knowledge and education. These are the 5 areas of coverage, really: cutting-edge technologies, traditional enterprise IT, project management, Scrum, and Agile, which is what you're going to be talking about today, finance, banking, and related domain skills, those are things like derivatives and capital markets and corporate finance, etc., and then business skills. A lot of online, a lot of live, but the most important thing is it's run by practitioners like Michael, who are experts in the field. That is to say, you are not getting something taught by an academician, you're getting something by someone who's a practitioner. So how do we deliver content in any way that is useful to you, this person participating? That could be live online, through a tablet. It could be through a live and in-person program, regardless. We do run some certification programs. I recommend you go to starweaverinstitute.org. Those are high-intensity immersion programs within a few weeks, an hour or two a week, you can get access to a pretty interesting certification. I will also say we have some upcoming webinars, not only the one today, but pretty much once a week into the remainder of the year. Here are the ones that are currently scheduled for the remainder of March. We'll probably add one at the end of the March. We try to do unusual subjects, not something that's basic and known to you and easy to learn, but something that's more advanced and more unique. So again, easy to find these on our website at starweaver.com/events, but here are a few: Angular, Swift, WebRTC, and some Power BI and data visualization. Here's some of the list of courses. There are 20 of them. You get access to these courses for free. You get access to courses for free simply by completing the survey link on the right-hand chat, which you'll see, and all you have to do is go to surveymonkey.com plus RHHZS85D. So do that. I'm going to pass this over to Michael now, who will tell you more about JIRA and how you apply it, some hands-on techniques. And then if you have any questions, of course, you can always send an email to any of us. There's some other people on the Starweaver team, or helpdesk@starweaver.com. Whatever works for you. I'm going to now pass this over to Michael and have a great program. And if you have any questions, please do text them in the right there. You will see a little text box. We will moderate those. We will record this session and then be able to pass it back to you after the program. So Michael, appreciate your time and take it.
Hi Paul. Hello everyone. Okay, welcome to this live session about JIRA. So I've got basically this is will be a little bit mixed up. So I've got few slideshows. So we just quickly glide through my quick presentation, and there is another session right here I've got prepared already waiting for JIRA live training session. So I'm going to show you basically a few really cool bits and bobs. So the main actually subject is how to start with JIRA Agile fast. So basically, well, just a really quick one about myself. My name is Michael. Hello everyone. And I'm training people and companies for the last something like 5-6 years. You know, JIRA Agile is one of my babies. So I also train about Confluence Service Desk and a few more bits. Okay, so let's just quickly move on. You know, this is going to be main subject for today is of course Scrum and Kanban. So basically, please, you know, if you can watch out for distraction, you know, if you can close your Skype, mobile phone, put on silence, and if you would like to grab pen and paper, will be good, make some notes, and of course, you know, if you close Facebook and Twitter account. Okay, so before we start, what is basically JIRA? JIRA is a brilliant product produced by Australian company called Atlassian. You know, they're quite big guys, and well, there is also quite big news. I don't know if someone is using Trello. Trello, very popular. It's free, very good tool. I'm using it sometimes myself. So Trello is actually very basic, well, it's not Scrum actually, it's Kanban board. And well, the big news is Trello a few weeks ago been bought by Atlassian. So it is now owned by Atlassian. Is probably going to be, well, no one really knows what's going to happen. It's probably going to be somehow part of JIRA. So I've already read on the blog. There is a way they're actually introducing new stuff. You can probably, I think, during the next update, can connect Trello to JIRA using JQL. So JQL is a JIRA query language. Basically, that's how you communicate. Okay, so let's just quickly note JIRA, very powerful tool. It's a very powerful management tool, but not only. JIRA is basically, they've got a few extra extensions like Service Desk, very good software, very popular, and also Confluence. I like myself Confluence. I'm using Confluence is almost every day. It's kind of wiki stuff, so it's very powerful. JIRA is, generally speaking, very powerful product management tool with Agile, Scrum, and Kanban. So, okay, before we start, let's just quickly, I'm going to show you, because you know how to basically choose a good hosting is very important. How to basically choose JIRA hosting. So JIRA offers two types of hosting. So first one is JIRA in the cloud, and another is a JIRA which is self-hosted. So you can actually host it on your own server, like AWS, you know, like DigitalOcean, or even probably it's going to work on Windows, but I don't know. Regarding cloud, this is where I would like to say, because people sometimes asking me where I should start, what's the best product for to start with JIRA, and cloud is definitely, in my opinion, the best way, because it's cheap. You know, as you can see from this spec, between 1 and 10 users is going to cost you just, well, plus VAT if you're in Europe, because I live in England. So it's going to cost you about $120 a year for 10 users. Is absolutely nothing. Of course, it's a little bit more expensive if you're planning to add, a little bit more users, but it is still very good price, and this is where you can actually start. You can, generally speaking, deploy JIRA in the cloud below 10-15 minutes. How to do this? You're just going to go to the products, select from the second screen, even if you want to try it, so, go for the button, try it free. Next, select basically from the screen number 3, option number 1. Of course, option number 2 is also very good if you're planning to get used to with Confluence. And when you hit that button, of course, they will ask you to put the company details. And on another screen, you can fill out a little bit more information, wait 10-15 minutes, and you're going to get email. And they are not going to even ask you for the card details first. I think first 14 days is 100% free. So, but okay, you know, we've got a few more options. There's also self-hosted version, so you can host JIRA on at AWS, for instance, DigitalOcean, your own server. It doesn't matter. You know, I'm of course recommending Linux servers for that. And the price is I think is small mistake on this screen. I need to actually fix it because it is not 100, but it's 10. So if we're talking about 1 to 10 users, it's just $10 a year. So it's actually very good price, you know, and that's why my JIRA installation over here is on my actually self-hosted version. So yeah, but you know, you just need to know a little bit more how to. It's very easy actually to set your own JIRA and self-hosted, but you need to know a little bit more about server administration. Of course, I'm recommending Linux, and of course, you know, for corporate usage, it's worth to say just to please be aware that self-hosted can handle more than 2,000 users, because the JIRA in the cloud, it can actually handle no more than 2,000 users. So which for for larger organization it could be a problem. Okay, so let's move on. It's JIRA is working beautifully on AWS, and I believe my installation is working on AWS too. Okay, but for this, so we've covered basically how to choose installation, and yes, if you don't know, and if you want to try or you never try JIRA, yeah, I'm highly recommending go to Atlassian website and go for the JIRA in the cloud, which is just $10 a month. Okay, so let's move on. Now we're going to talk about Agile, because Agile, some even people think it's basically Agile Scrum, or Agile Kanban. What's the differences? And even me, I don't know why very often people think that the Scrum is the Agile, but it's not actually. So basically, this webinar is not about Agile methodology. So if you want to know a little bit more, I'm highly advising just go to the website, to the Google, just check what Agile is. I'm just going to explain a few very basic principles. So just to let you know, Agile is more than those two methodologies. I'm not actually sure about the exact numbers, but it's more than 10, so like 10, 12, because it's Lean, XP, and a few more. But we're not going to talk about it because JIRA is supporting only two subsets of Agile, which is Scrum and Kanban. Briefly, let's just explain what is basically Kanban. Kanban doesn't really care about, well, let's say like this. In Kanban, the main thing is quantity of resolved tickets. So as you can see right here, we are moving basically tickets from issues, because there are no tickets, there are issues. So we're moving issues from left-hand side to the right-hand side. So we need to resolve as many issues as we can. So basically, yes, the quantity is the most important. But Scrum is very different, because yes, of course, the quantity of resolved tickets is always our priority. But in Scrum, basically, we've got sprints, and we're working with sprints. So I'm going to show you very quickly how to basically start with Scrum in just a few more minutes. So please remember, Agile basically is about teamwork. So if you're planning to use JIRA for your own purpose, if you're a one-man band, I will say probably Kanban. Try Kanban. So Scrum probably is not going to work for you. And of course, because I like Agile methodology a lot, but please remember, Agile is not a silver bullet. So it's not going to solve every single problem. I'm not going to list every single one, but a lot of people think it's something new. Well, it's not. It's very well established methodology. First principles been established in 80s. So it's about 30 plus years right now on the market, and well, a lot of people believe Agile implementation is very easy. Well, it's not. I can tell you straight away, it's not, and Agile not going to give you straight away benefits. But working with Agile is definitely fun for me. That's why the tool, which is JIRA plus Agile, in my opinion, works very well. And if it's done in the right way, you can see benefits straight away, like improvements of quality and visibility, well, better revenue, of course, cost control, and customer satisfaction. Okay, so let's talk quickly about Scrum. So Scrum, basically, we've got sprints, planning, and we're working towards the finishing our issues inside the sprint. And the sprints could be between 1 week to 4 weeks, even 30 days. But in my opinion, the best when the sprint is no more than 10 days. So that's what I thing, but of course it's something what is what's there's no like a perfect recipe for that, but yeah, I'm show you basically in just a few, really 2 minutes, how that system works in a real life example in JIRA. So we've got, for instance, very something like a very basic screen from the Scrum board. But don't worry about it. We're going to come back to this in just a few minutes. Okay, and really important thing about Scrum. Scrum works the best for developers. So if we have to deal with deadlines, yeah. So for instance, if we are developers and we work on a small big project, we're organizing sprints, which sprint could be weekly, 2 weeks, and we're working towards deadlines to resolve as many issues as we can. So working with deadlines is basically Scrum methodology. But Kanban is, of course, a little different. So there is no sprint planning, and the deadlines virtually doesn't exist in Kanban. So where we can use Kanban the best? Well, there's again no wrong or right answer for that, but Kanban works definitely very good in support teams. So if we have to deal with a lot of issues, but not only, even me, and sometimes like I work on some internal projects, like I'm creating right now I'm in the middle of creating a JIRA training course, and actually Kanban works the best because I can set the workflows, I can set my statuses, and well, of course the deadlines are very good, but if I don't work with deadlines, Kanban is working for me very well. So as I told you, yeah, Kanban works very good with support teams. For example, because it's also widely used in non-IT departments. This is one of like a miss. Agile is dedicated 100% to IT sector. Well, it's not. You know, I know a lot of examples when people are using in finance, in HR. In HR, actually, Kanban works very well. So no sprints, no deadline, but still you have to organize morning stand-ups. Okay, and this is the small difference between Agile board, which is actually a Scrum. This is actually the Kanban board. Okay, so I think that's really it. So I'm hoping that was not a death by PowerPoint. I'm going to show you my JIRA, and let's just start from the beginning. Okay, so let's click right here. So this is actually brand new installation, and I don't have any details right here. So which is going to look probably very similar to your JIRA when you actually start working. And my version is this is actually self-hosted, so I'm not actually sure, but it looks like it's hosted on AWS account. But never mind, it's going to work in probably most of the ISPs these days. Okay, so this is very standard dashboard, and if we've got enough time, probably I'm going to show you how to set a dashboard, because this is one of the most important things. But dashboard is the first screen when you're going to see after you log on to JIRA. Obviously, when you don't have any issues, this section will be completely blank, so you're not going to see any issues. Because please remember, I'm even trying to correct myself. In JIRA, we don't say tickets, we say issues. Okay, so I'm running. It's actually not maybe super last version, because I checked today and 7.3, I think. But 7.2 is still a very good version. Okay, so dashboard is basically this first screen when you log on to JIRA, and on the top we always got menu. So this stuff which is over the top, which is right now blue with the JIRA icon, is you can actually customize it. So you can change the colors, you can change the font, but what you cannot change is the position of the top menu. Top menu is going to be always on the top. That's why they call it top menu. And now we can actually select between dashboards, projects, issues, and boards. And please remember that my JIRA may look a little bit different, but I don't think so. It's actually JIRA software. So I don't have any service desk. I don't have any other bits like portfolio. But normally when you start adding more plugins, more extensions to JIRA, they're going to land probably right here in this section. And okay, let's move on. So on the right-hand side, we've got search, and search in JIRA is very, very, very powerful. So we've got like 3 different stages for search. So we're getting this search is very, very global. So if we type demo, it's going to search for everything what contains word demo. But we can obviously select it and limit to just a single projects or add a little bit more complicated query. But okay, if we've got enough time, I'm going to explain you a little bit more about the search by the end of this masterclass. And of course over here we've got help. So very, very powerful help. Actually, I have to say the documentation for JIRA is very good. It's very, very, very good. There's a lot of stuff. So every time if you don't know basically how to use any functions, or you just want to get a help about admin, don't hesitate. Click that section and look at this. The documentation is very, very good, and they keep updating it quite often. Okay, we've got also this cog. So the cog, of course, something what is going to be usually is settings, and yes, there is a right here is located global settings. So I'm not. Oh yeah. Of course, one very important information. I am the admin at the moment, so I've got full rights. So I can remove users, I can remove plugins, create projects, I can do whatever I want. So basically, if you don't have an admin rights in your JIRA, you still probably can see this code, but you're not going to see these options. So I'm the super admin. And of course, right here, got like a profile, and I can give you my first tip about the profile, especially if you're working with a small group and the JIRA is dedicated to a team group. I'm highly recommending to update your avatar, so everyone knows who is talking to everyone, knows who is that person, right? Okay, so let's move on. So we've been actually covering dashboards. I'm going to show you right now how to create first project in the JIRA. You need to be a super admin to do this. So okay, let's do it. I'm going to go over here, projects, and I'm going to hit create project. And because this actually this masterclass is dedicated to Agile, we're not going to cover anything about business, because business, it's actually this is that's how they call it now, a JIRA core. So this is the JIRA without Agile implementation. So we'll be talking about Scrum and Kanban. And I'm going to give you my next tip. If you never before used JIRA, please do not create an empty project, but go and create sample data. I can explain you why. Because very often, even like last week, I've been doing training for somebody, and that person never actually used JIRA before, and of course we talk, and he says, oh yeah, okay, now I'm gonna create the first project. And the question is, what am I supposed to do when I create my first project? It's completely empty, there's nothing there. Yes, that's why Atlassian, thank you Atlassian, create that really cool option, and I'm going to show you now about let's just do a Kanban example. Okay, so in this case I'm not going to hit and I'm not going to choose one of those 2 options, but I'm going to go and create sample data, and now I can choose between Scrum and Kanban. So I'm going to go for Kanban. I call it demo Kanban. And I'm going to explain you next what is the name and the key. So name, it's to name it project from the beginning is very important, believe me. I can't stress this enough, but please do not, please avoid and do not call new projects like this, or even like this? No, because you know right now what the hell is project 34, but believe me, in next week or even next month, you're not gonna know. And also, it's good for your colleague, to name it project right from the beginning. And look, you've got 80 characters, so use the good name from the beginning. So that's why I'm gonna call it my. Okay. No spelling. And key is something unique. Key is basically a unique ID, and we're going to use it inside the project, and we're going to use it inside the URL. So I personally believe key shouldn't be longer than 3 characters. So you can actually get 10, but I think 3 is good enough. And okay, we are humans, so we can make a mistake. So yes, of course, if you made a mistake, you can actually fix it and send up the project name. All right, so let's do it now. Submit. And JIRA is what it's doing right now in the background. Is generating. There you go. It's generating in the background. It depends about between 10 to 20 sample data issues. Because believe me, I'm going to show you what's going to happen right now if I'm going to go back and create a project. Well, it's of course only for someone who never used JIRA before. And I'm going to go for Kanban right here. And yeah, issue types, I'm going to talk to you about it in just a few minutes, and workflows too. Let's select, so I'm going to do empty Kanban, and the key is AK. Yeah, that's somewhat. And look at this, it's blank. So basically, for someone who never used JIRA before, well, it could be a little confusing, because how the hell I have to use it now? This is actually very, very common question. So if you're brand new to JIRA, do not hesitate and create a project with a sample data. Because look, if I'm going to come back over here, we already got about, I don't know how many, but it's going to be about 10, 15 issues. All right, so Kanban is actually one of my favorites. It works really well. In Japanese, it means board. And basically, we've got few issues right here. And our mission, if we are Scrum Master or we are actually, developing this project, working this project, is to move on the board. So this is what we're doing. This is 100% drag and drop. And what is also important, if we talk about the work group, I'm not going to show you, but believe me, that board is refreshing automatically. So every time when I move the issue right here to the next column, on your colleague boards is refreshing. They're going to see a small screen. They're going to see a small message right here. The board's been updated. And you can actually hold, or you can actually click the button refresh, and they will bring new stuff back on the screen. So yeah, okay, so this is actually how it works. This is all about Kanban, moving the tickets, moving issues from left-hand side to the right-hand side. But hold on, there is one more thing. We've got right now columns. So what the columns are? So this is our workflow, and it's too short because I've only got 30 more minutes. I'm not going to explain every single bit, but this workflow in JIRA by default is simplified. What does it mean, and what the hell is a workflow? So workflow is basically is describing the processes and the life cycle of the issue. If you want to know what is the workflow, click on any issue. I'm going to go for the full screen. I'm just going to maybe, okay, why not? Let's hit that DK1. And do you remember when I've been actually creating the demo project and been asking me for the key? That key is located right here. It's part of the issue. So issue is actually, as you can see, the first step is the project name. And next one, we've got issue ID plus that number. And that number is very, very unique. What does it mean? JIRA is automatically increasing numbers, and there is not possible to get 2 issue IDs inside one project. Even when you're going to go over here and remove, it's never going to be replaced by another ticket with the same ID. Because yes, of course, you can delete that issue, but it's never going to be recovered. So please remember, because it's important. Okay, so right now, we moved that demo stuff into the full screen, and let's see what is the workflow. So when I'm going to click right here, and there you go. This is our very similar, as Ivan is saying, actually simplified workflow. And okay, so I'm going to very quickly explain what is going on right here. So as you can even see, you can drag it. And don't worry, you cannot destroy anything. This is just a preview. But look at this. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So basically, this white, gray dot is a symbol. So it's actually saying we are starting right here. And when we're creating a first issue in JIRA, automatically, because the arrow is pointed right here, is going to receive a status. So every issue in JIRA must have a status. And this status is going to be, of course, backlog. And yes, of course, you can change it. You can change it. You can have a very, very complex workflows. We will probably, if we've got enough time, we're going to talk a little bit about it. And right now, when we're creating the issue, is actually assigning by the default the status called backlog. Okay, and from backlog we can take the status and change it to any status. So this is why they call it simplified workflow. So I can take a backlog from the backlog and point it straight away to done. There's nothing what is blocking me. Why? Because this arrow is saying this is the transition, and transition is all to all. Yeah, if you can see this. So when I'm going to come back to the board, because the menu is always on the left-hand side. So basically, if I take this one, this issue, I'm going to preview the. So we are here. Yeah, and let's move back, and I move it to in progress. Okay, and now look at this. The state has been changed. And if I'm going to preview the workflow, well, it is also showing my position, which is on the yellow, right here. And this is actually, so we're saying that issue is in progress. But okay, why this simplified workflow? What's the benefit of a simplified workflow? Well, the benefit is it's very easy to add new statuses and new columns. You can do it, generally speaking, on the fly. I can give you my advice. Generally speaking, you don't need to spend a lot of time in the beginning to designing a workflow. Because if we're talking about some very, very complex workflows, yes, sometimes I spend with a customer a week or even 2 weeks before we actually deploy a project just to design a workflow. It could be a very tedious process. But when you've got a simplified workflow, I'm going to show you how to add new status on the fly. And this actually methodology is going to work for Kanban and Scrum at the same time. So how to do this? We're going to go over here. Oh, sorry. And we're going to choose from the board menu, configure. Sorry, it's slow today. And we're going to scroll to the column section. And look at this. Can you see this? That it looks exactly same how it was in the workflow screen. Yes, because this is the implementation of Simplified Workflow. And how I know it's a Simplified? Well, because it's saying to me, as you can clearly see, JIRA is actually saying, yes, this is using Simplified Workflow. And how to add new status? Very, very simple story column. So I'm going to add a new column and saying, well, I need maybe feedback. And of course, it's asking me for the category. So it's kind of like a, not binary, because we've got 3 statuses, but JIRA have got some, by the default, of course you can change it in admin, but JIRA by the default works regarding statuses in kind of in binary mode, because if there is progress, yeah, there is 1, but when it's done, it's 0. If it's to do, it's basically, there is no work, is again 0. So we're saying, of course, it is in progress. And maybe I'm going to add another status, like blocked. Sorry. Yeah, it's new. And again, will be in progress. And, oh yes, I've actually checked the status up. I'm supposed to check a column. Okay. Blocked. Let's do it. Yeah. And there you go. In just below 10 seconds, we've added a little bit more statuses to our board. So let's go back to the board. And there you go. We've got our 2 new statuses. But you know what? Interesting thing is, you don't need to have 1 status per column. You can have multiple statuses per 1 column. And like, for instance, this is feedback, because I can add, for instance, new status and waiting for for customer. And I'm going to drop it to feedback, and maybe I want to add another status. Which is going to be pretty bad example, but why not? I'm going to add it right here. So feedback, I don't really need feedback because it's confusing me. So I've got 2 actually statuses on feedback. Let's go back. And now, when I'm going to move into the feedback, can you see JIRA is asking me for, okay, but which status? So I can go waiting for a customer or waiting for a Scrum Master. So I'm going to select waiting for the Scrum Master. And well, there is of course a little bit more to that, because the configuration, you can spend probably few even days, believe me, you can even spend a few more days configuring this stuff. But there is also one more really quick thing. Well, maybe I'm not going to cover this, but the swim lanes are located right here. So this is like the horizontal stuff. This is the swim lane, and using swim lane is also very, very powerful. It's very cool. You can actually look at this. You can change it for stories. And if I go back and maybe refresh it, yeah, stories actually works a little bit better with Scrum. So, and we don't have a. Yeah, I'm going to show you maybe in the in Scrum methodology, but even that, they've got something like expeti and everything else. So it's very, very, very important. But I would like to show you something what is, in my opinion, absolutely must have. It's a card colors. So if you're going to go over here and say assignee and maybe priority, and also going to add in the card layouts assignee, add, and what else? Priority, why not? And yeah, that's it. So look at this. Now we've got a little bit more information, and the colors, that is brilliant, brilliant if you are planning to use one board to manage many projects, even if you've got a little bit more complex projects inside JIRA and you just need some kind of distinct marker, so that color is changing. Okay, so I think, because this is quite quick, we don't have that much time to cover everything, but we can actually start progressing with our work, move it, and when we move to the done, as you can see, the issue is crossed. There is a small bug because that issue been actually put by the JIRA automatically, but when you move it back, as you can see, they are crossed. So cross is mean the resolution of the ticket is resolved. So that's how we quickly progressing with the issue in Kanban. But okay, let's move on and let's show, I'm going to show you now Scrum, because Kanban is actually relatively simple. We also got versions, but we are probably not going to cover releases, how to actually use releases in Kanban, because yes, this is kind of new, very, very, very useful feature, especially for developers who are using Kanban methodology. You can use versions right now. But okay, let's move on, and I'm going to come back to the JIRA dashboard. So I'm again here, and as you can see, this gadget is increasing because we just managed to create, I think, 14, yeah, maybe 14 additional issues. And let's going to talk about Scrum, how to actually use Scrum. So again, I'm going to go over here and go for create a project, and again, I'm going to create sample data. So for this time, I'm going to select Scrum and select yes, and say demo Scrum project. The key is going to be DSP again. And I'm going to hit submit button. Just to give you a small tip, please do not create too many demo sample data on production JIRA, because sometimes it can overload the JIRA. So the best is, of course, test it on your non-production version. And look at this. This is actually a little bit different. However, it's similar. Because in Kanban, it looks very similar. You can drag them from the left to the right-hand side. But there is one more screen which is missing on Scrum. So it is, of course, plan, and they call it backlog. So now it used to be plan, but now it's called sprint. So this is where we start working with sprints. And what basically is sprint? So I'm not going to teach you what sprint in Scrum methodology is, but it's just it's normally it's a period between, well, it could be even 2 days. I can't really see a point to organize 2 days, but in my opinion, sprints between 5 to 10 days works the best. And in JIRA, we can create more sprints. So for instance, first step is, of course, backlog. Every new issue in JIRA for this project is going to land in backlog. I'm going to show you. Let's do a quick experiment. So let's go and create our first issue. And by the way, there I've got very cool the key shortcuts, and that's a C key. Or you can go over here from the top, select create. And now I'm going to select between the issue types. Yeah, this is going to be a story, so very standard Scrum. And let's say logo problem. And the reporter is me. So well, I'm not going to say what's the problem with the logo, but you can put, of course, this is going to be a short description, long description over here, and you can put as many information as you want right here. But hold on, that looks a little bit too busy to me, so I'm going to give you another tip. If you think this fields configuration is a little bit too much for you, don't worry, you can actually reduce the amount of fields very quickly. Go to the code, select configure, and now go for custom. And from a custom, you can select which fields you like. Yeah, I think, assigning no point, attachments, no points, component, no description, yeah, why not, epics, no labels, yeah, why not, priority, no, I don't need priority, and reporter, yeah, that's fine, done. And look at this, uncluttered, JIRA bit uncluttered. And what the most important is, please remember, this is not a global, it is just configured for a single user. All right, so I'm going to could be something that doesn't really matter. Label you can use, for instance, for the priority, very good practice. So it's going to be like P3 in my case, and I'm going to hit create. And we don't need to refresh, and as you can see, that DP24, which just been created because that's the order, is just pointed to the backlog. And now, Scrum Master need to organize sprints, because it's a demo, so JIRA already start first sprint. But I'm gonna create maybe 2 more, because if my sprint's gonna be 1 week, well, there's in Agile there's no really point to plan more than, in my opinion, 3-4 sprints. So I given 2 sprints very often are just absolutely fine. And look at this. Now I can move my issue and move it to the right sprint, because I've already, JIRA actually already created this first sprint and started sprint. There will be very interesting message. The sprint, as you can see, is in progress. Well, can you see it's progress? Yes, it's active sprint. So basically, because it's active sprint, normally by Agile methodology, and please do not do that, you're not supposed to add new issues to open sprint. And is it possible in JIRA? Let's test it. So I'm going to move it right here, and I'm going to drag it, because everything is drag and drop. So yes, exactly. You can, of course, you can, that's no problem, but it's going to warn you, because you're not supposed to add or remove any issues from the sprint which is ongoing. But okay, so I think that is going to be fine, and I'm just, it's just the planning really, so I'm not doing any particular work right here. So we're planning our work for the next 2-3 weeks. Okay, and I think, maybe just add it. If the sprint is not ongoing, if it's not started, there will be no warning message. And okay, I'm very happy, and now we have to concentrate on the sprint 1 and start progressing. So for that reason, I'm going to switch the screen into the second one, and this is something what I just showed you from Kanban methodology. And again, you can drag them and drop. Everything is drag and drop, and that screen is shared by many users, so you don't need to refresh it every time when you actually move the issue from the left hand to the right hand side, or from right hand side to the left hand side. It will refresh on your colleague screen automatically. And this is exactly the same rollout I told you before. You can go back to the configure and prepare the board, prepare the workflow. And look at this, exactly the same scenario. We've got Simplified Workflow, so I know it straight away. And now I can start using, of course, adding columns like our feedback. Blocked. And for instance, def rating. So I'm not going to add the statuses, but believe me, it's exactly the same rule. And when I go back to the board, as you can see, the new status has been added, and we can start progressing with our issues. Okay, so I'm going to share something interesting. I'm hoping this is not going to be, oh yeah, because it's a little bit different story. No, I don't want to. With well, when it's a sub, this is actually sub task, so it's a little bit different. But look at this. Now we've got basically 2 issues which they are blocking us. But the question regarding Agile methodology is, if the sprint is towards the end, do we have to finish? The question is, I'm answering myself, but do we have to finish sprint even if 2 issues are unresolved? And the answer is yes, absolutely, yes, absolutely, yes. So if you are a Scrum Master, if you are working with sprints, please do not exceed amount of days in a sprint. So actually JIRA is prepared for that. How to do this? What's going to happen right now if I'm going to hit and create sprint. Yes, so it looks like 3 issues are done, and 1 is subtask, and there are still 3 issues incomplete, and JIRA is asking me, what do you do? So you can actually push it to the backlog or push it to sprint 3 or 4, because that's what we've been creating. But in this case, I'm going to say, you know what, let's push it to the sprint 3 and complete. And that is actually what I've been waiting for. The burn down chart is absolutely not something absolutely necessary, but great tool, great tool. You can see a progress. This gray one line is of course our guideline, and the red one is our natural progress. So I've been creating this new issue. That's why it's going up. So it doesn't look really great because I finished in the middle, but never mind. So now I can show you there is one new button available, which is start the sprint. And the first question, which I'm always asking my students, where you're supposed to start next sprint. Should you wait for the feedback? Do we need to organize a retrospective? And after retrospective, well, I'm going to give you an answer right now. You should start the next sprint absolutely immediately. Yeah, so do not wait for any retrospectives, any feedback, any meetings. You have to start the sprint right away. So I'm going to hit the button, and of course, it's going to ask me for the following sprint, which is going to be sprint 3. And this is where you can decide how long you're supposed to ongoing next sprint. And you know, you can try. You can always try. You can try basically between 1 to 2 weeks. But if you're new to Agile, if you don't know your stuff very well, I'm not absolutely recommending 3-4 weeks because it's a little bit. Is very often a little too long, and you're going to see the burn down chart looks quite funny. First, I think I've been even doing a training last month for someone who they've decided to go for even 5 weeks because, well, of course, you know, you can actually go to the start date and then you know, could be whatever you want. Just not blocking you. And the burn down chart looks very funny. First, basically 2 weeks was no work progress whatsoever. So because really, you know, the main goal of the sprint is to motivate the team and to achieve as much as you can. So in this case, I'm going to select 2 weeks and I'm going to start sprint. And JIRA automatically is moving to the active sprints. And do you remember those 2 tickets? There's no keep talking tickets, but there are issues. And that issues are back to the sprint 3. And again, you know, we can start progressing our work. Okay. I think we've got maybe enough time because I would like to talk to you about 2 things. Epics and versions, because epics are very important. Epics are very important, and they're very cool. So first question is, what the hell is epic? So, well, the definition of epic is a large collection of issues. So it's something between project and something between user stories. So, but there is one very important information about epics. During sprints don't need to be resolved. So one epic can go across multiple sprints and multiple projects. This is very important. I'm going to repeat that. Epics can go across multiple projects and multiple sprints. So what does it mean? Because, you know, if we're working with a little bit larger organization and we're working with many projects, because that's what I recommend. Do not work like some people are trying. I haven't done a training for someone who's using one single project with more than 50 people, and that was a bit crazy. Every time, create a separate project. Each customer should have a separate project. Each project should have a separate project in JIRA. Please remember about it. And you know, very often it's alive. Some issues are related. 2, 3, 4, 5, even 20 projects. So that's why we've got epics. So if I'm gonna hit the C button, I can select from here epic, and I'm gonna say idiotic name, sorry for that. Please guys, do not call it like this. It's just for the demo. I'm not gonna say description, and I hit it. So look at this. Epics are not visible on the backlog view, but if I'm gonna go to the issues, yeah, it's here, because it is like basically like an issue in JIRA, but very special. And how I can give you some example. Like, yes, for instance, we are web developers, yes, and our customer decided, you know, guys, we need to change whole about us section on our website. So it's going to be a single change. It's not going to be a map. It's not going to be add, you know, I don't know, address, but it's going to be a little bit bigger change. So we need to add map. We need to add more information about us, video, and you know, just change the color, change the screen, change everything. So, well, because it is part of the project, I'm not going to create for that separate projects. It's no, it doesn't make sense. So that's why I'm going to create epic. And now every time when I'm going to hit the C button and go for story and saying, you know, please update a font, whatever it is, about us, and I'm going to hit here. The issue is here, and look at this. I've got epics right here, and I'm gonna drag it, and the epic is right here. And what is also the most important, if I'm gonna go back to my Kanban, because you went out, you know, and it's empty, and I'm gonna create whatever, just the first issue. There is an epic link inside, and I can link it to the epic from very different project. So this is actually Kanban, and we've actually been talking about Scrum. Okay, now, and this is simple. You can just basically drag them and drop. Version works in a similar way. So versions are working in a very similar way. Maybe I'm going to show you today how to do it. We also would like to cover a little bit about the reports. So, oh wow, this is actually beautiful burn down chart. So that's how it's supposed to look. So yeah, ideally. But you know, you can actually switch between burn down, you've got epic parts and versions reports, and many other very useful informations. I think we covered most of the stuff, because I'm afraid we're running a bit out of the time. So that was like very quick presentation about Kanban and Scrum, and trust me, we just a little bit scratch the surface. It's of course much more to that, but maybe that could give you a little bit picture how to start working with JIRA fast, especially if we're talking Scrum and Kanban. So okay, I think I'm done for that. So I'll be appreciating for your feedback. Hello. Hey Paul, are you there? Because looks like I finished the presentation.
Okay, thank you, Michael, so much for a great webinar. And thank you everyone who took the time to attend. This was really great, really informative. So thank you.
No problem.
For the attendees, if you have a couple of minutes afterwards, please visit the link that we sent in the chat box for the feedback survey. This helps us for, to conduct better webinars in the future, or to let us know how you enjoyed today's. And as a thank you for completing the survey, we will give you guys a free course. Does anybody have any questions before we close the webinar? Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.